Every rivalry has a story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And for Crispa-Toyota, the best storytellers are, of course, its players. Let's listen to their stories.
Atoy Co against Emer Legaspi, Philip Cesar.
Crispa and Toyota battled a total of 123 games from 1975 to 1983.
Fernandez failed to materialize in a battle.
They shared 21 of the 26 PBA championships during that span, with Crispa earning 13 titles against Toyota's 9.
And look at that defense, but the Relosa made it.
Guidaben.
The Red Banizers also tallied 63 wins over Toyota's 60. But does this mean that Crispa is the better team?
They had the more talented team as well as the deeper bench. They were built on a team that would have 12 good players. Their coach at that time, of course, was Baby Dalupan, no? Followed later by Tommy Manotoc, both Grand Slam winners. They knew how to use their players properly, so they were deeper. They could go deep to their bench, while Toyota was limited more to about 6 or 7 real quality players.
9 former members of the Mika shed their amateur status and formed the PBA. Crispa, Toyota, Universal Textiles, Royal True Orange, Noritake, Concepcion Industries Carrier, Tanduay, CFC Presto, and 7-Up. Though the other 7 teams have their own set of superstars, it was Crispa and Toyota that really stood out with their considerable roster of talents and depth of support forces. Crispa had the likes of Atoy Co, William Bogs Adornado, Freddy Hubalde, Philip Cesar, and Bernie Fabiosa.
Well, if you talk about Crispa, I think the most popular players there were, of course, Atoy Co and Philip Cesar, and as well as William Adornado. No, Bogsy was probably the best small forward our country ever had. And then, obviously, later on, Abet Guidaben, Bernard Fabiosa, Freddy Hubalde, who also became an MVP. There are a lot of good players. Joy Dionisio, even a guy like Tito Varela became popular, even though he was just a role player.
Yung team namin, pwede ngang i-divide dyan sa, kung 15 yan, pwedeng 3 eh. Pagka pinaglaro mo lahat yan at lahat desididong manalo, talagang mahihirapan yung kalaban mo.
That's right. Yes, Fernandez, finally.
Toyota, for its part, bristled with the triumvirate of Ramon Fernandez, Sonny Jaworski, and Francis Arnaiz.
If you go to the other side, obviously, Robert Jaworski, he was a leader as well as probably the most charismatic player the country had during that period. Then his buddy, his backcourt players, si Francis Arnaiz, then Ramon Fernandez, and eventually Toyota did get Abe King, Arne Tuadles, a lot of other good players, Fort Acuna.
In retrospect, Crispa looked like the more talented team, producing 5 most valuable players, backstopped by a deep bench that can play as good as their starters, not to mention being handled by the legendary Baby Dalupan. But as they say, true, intense rivals are mirrors of each other's strengths and weaknesses. And Toyota wasn't far behind with a roster beaming with its own charisma, swagger, and overwhelming sense of motivation.
Siyempre, pride yan eh. It was like bragging rights kung sino manalo or everything. So every time you go into the court, there was no need for motivation. The coaches, the owners, they didn't have to motivate the players. When they went in there, it was a matter of pride for that one game. So tomorrow, ako nanalo, so I have a couple of weeks to brag that I beat you. Or I won the championship over you.
Crispa and Toyota played their last official PBA game on October 9, 1983, when the former beat its arch-nemesis, 111-96. Toyota disbanded on February 1984, while Crispa followed suit a year later.
El Presidente for Ramon Fernandez. Number 7, the Big J, Senator Robert Sonny Jaworski.
But on May 30, 2003, Crispa and Toyota once again faced off in a highly anticipated reunion game for the PBA's All-Star Weekend festivities.
In almost 3 minutes, has it? Cesar may go in all the way against Jaworski, but he overshoots the mark, and the layup follow-up is good. We have Abed Guidaben.
Rocha, and there was Philip Cesar going up
to Guidaben, while Senator Jaworski went up to Rocha. Okay, hold it now. Look at Terry Saldana.
This time, however, Toyota beat its arch-rival 65-61 behind the gutsy plays of Jaworski and Fernandez, two legends with themselves their own history of animosity. Toyota and Crispa had two of the country's best centers at the height of their PBA rivalry. Ramon Fernandez of Toyota and Abet Guidaben of Crispa were both so good at that time that the league even prevented them from playing together to preserve balance in the PBA. Fernandez and Guidaben would later trade places twice. In 1985, Bierhausen shipped El Presidente to Tanduay for Guidaben. And in 1988, the former Crispa big man went to Pure Foods in exchange for Fernandez, who tied up with San Miguel Beer.